Today is the 2023 Royal Rumble, which means two things. It's one of the most exciting times for pro wrestling fans and WWE fans alike, and I gotta get this video done pretty damn quick. But I needed to do a video on the Royal Rumble because not only is it one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year, it's also one of the most unpredictable but predictable pay-per-views at the same time. I feel like it's been a really long time since we didn't know who was set in stone to potentially win the Royal Rumble. There's usually two, it's never usually three, there's usually two clear-cut picks that are penciled in to win the Royal Rumble. And I would say 85 to 90% of the time, one of those two picks ends up heading to the main event on the road to WrestleMania. However, with Triple H in charge this year, although we don't know how much influence he's going to have on this match after Vince McMahon's return to behind-the-scenes work and potential booking decisions, we have a little bit more to be concerned about, but at the same time, I feel like they're going to deliver in the first pay-per-view of 2023 and hit a home run with how this men's Royal Rumble match is going to go. Now, there are a lot of potential picks, I guess, considering, but I'm going to give you two picks that I think could potentially win the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be a lot of people's choices. Number one is going to be the return of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, after suffering that injury in that Hell in a Cell match, or actually prior to that Hell in a Cell main event against Seth Rollins. He got injured during his own workout. We all know the story. He came back the night after Raw after he defeated Seth Rollins in a 3-0 clean sweep at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and he was attacked by Seth Rollins and written off TV so he could heal from his injury. I think Cody Rhodes is the perfect pick to go into WrestleMania and main event it. I think he's the perfect pick to be the man who can dethrone the Tribal Chief in Roman Reigns. And I think that it is potentially one of the most satisfying Royal Rumble winners that the WWE and pro wrestling fans have had in a very long time. I wouldn't mind at all if Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, and it's something that I think a lot of fans would be excited with as well. Now, aside from that, we have the potential return of one of the biggest superstars in WWE history, one of the pillars of the professional wrestling business, the Brahma Bull, the jabroni-beating, pie-eating, eyebrow-raising Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, making his return to the WWE to potentially win the Royal Rumble and set up the head of the table showdown between the Tribal Chief and the head of the table in the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and the great one, the People's Champion, the Brahma Bull, The Rock. The Rock versus Roman Reigns is big money. It's a big money match. It's perfect timing, especially with the entire iteration of the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy and Jey Uso, and the inclusion of Sami Zayn. I think that everybody would be excited for The Rock to face Roman Reigns, but not many people would be excited for The Rock to win the Royal Rumble. But if he returns and you hear, "If you smell," then everybody is going to jump out of their seats and, scream for joy, and the roof is going to come off the building. I think The Rock and Cody Rhodes are really your only potential choices to win the Rumble in terms of actual logical winners. There are other people as well, including Sami Zayn, which I would be a fan of based off of how the trial of Sami Zayn and the entire story with Roman, Jimmy and Jey, and Solo Sikoa has gone, throughout the last year or so. I would be extremely excited to see Sami Zayn be the underdog pick, win the Rumble, and have to go up against his Tribal Chief and his head of the table in Roman Reigns. One of the soldiers of the Tribal Chief having to face his own chief, and it could really just be for an incredible storyline. When it comes to storyline, booking, and potentially the most emotionally invested that fans could be in a match for WrestleMania, I don't really think anything can get better than Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, aside from The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and then the third choice would be the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns in a somewhat cross-promotional pro wrestling showdown. Even though Cody's back in the WWE, it's kind of an AEW versus WWE feel to it, which is something we don't ever really get in pro wrestling these days when it's between two different promotions. Even though it's not, you know what I'm trying to say. I think the real only potential winners, if I'm going to give you three, would be Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Sami Zayn. I'm going to write off Sami Zayn as a winner of the Royal Rumble because I feel like there's more of a deep cut in terms of the storytelling and the way that the direction of the Sami versus Roman and the Bloodline story is going to head down. So I'm going to take Sami off the table, but I would absolutely love to see him win. So for my potential winners, like I already stated, it's either going to be The Rock returning, winning, and going on to face Roman for the championship at Mania, or it's going to be Cody Rhodes heading into WrestleMania to face the Tribal Chief. However, I think we're going to get both, but in two different aspects, and here's what I mean. First, let me give you my Final Four for the Royal Rumble this year. I think it's an interesting aspect. I'm going to give you the Final Four, the Final Two, and the winner. My Final Four for the 2023 Royal Rumble are going to be Cody Rhodes, the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar, The Rock, and Seth freaking Rollins. It's kind of that new school versus old school feel that we had similarly at the 2018 Royal Rumble, which I believe to be one of the best booked Royal Rumble matches from start to finish in the modern era. And I just feel like this makes a lot of sense. You can have like the Rock versus Brock reincarnation back from 2002 that we haven't seen in such a long time. And you can have the feud with Seth and Cody all kind of meshing together in this mosaic of professional wrestling storylines. Then I'm going to give you my final two. My final two for the 2023 Royal Rumble are going to be the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think The Rock and Cody Rhodes, it's new school versus old school. It's the collision of eras. Even though The Rock is a much bigger star than Cody Rhodes is one of the biggest stars in pro wrestling today, and his return is heavily anticipated. I think Cody Rhodes and The Rock as the final two in the Royal Rumble is the really just the best way to go about it. And then for the winner of the Royal Rumble, I'm going to go with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. And I know everybody's going to say, well, if The Rock's going to make it to the final two, then he's going to win. But he's not, and here's why. Cody Rhodes is going to win the Royal Rumble based off of a distraction from Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, either interfering on the outside of the ring or pulling The Rock out of the ring, mangling him and beating him down, putting him back in and having Rhodes eliminate him. That way you can set up The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. But you can also have Cody Rhodes challenge for a world championship. Here's why. Roman Reigns is going to give up the WWE Championship and go into WrestleMania as only the Universal Champion. Then, at WrestleMania, for the vacant WWE title on the Raw brand, we're going to have Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins to really finish off their feud and really kind of tie up all the loose ends after Cody got attacked when he came out on Monday Night Raw the night after Hell in a Cell, and that was the last time we saw him. So Cody versus Seth can end the feud there. Seth can lose to Cody Rhodes again, and Cody can become the WWE Champion. And then on the SmackDown side for the Universal Championship, you can do The Rock versus Roman Reigns. That way you're getting both targets accomplished on the same pay-per-view, even though it's going to be two different nights like it was the past few years. And it just makes a whole lot of sense. So I like Cody versus Seth for the WWE Championship or the vacant WWE title. After Cody wins the Royal Rumble, he can finish up the feud with Seth, win his world title, and win at WrestleMania after debuting at last year's WrestleMania or re-debuting at last year's Mania against Seth himself. And then, obviously, the most emotionally invested storyline between The Rock and Roman Reigns for the Universal title, and The Rock doesn't even have to win the Royal Rumble. So that's how I think you do it. The Final Four, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, The Rock, and Cody Rhodes. The Final Two, The Rock and Cody Rhodes. The winner of the Royal Rumble will be the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, but it will also, in the process, set up the splitting of two championships between Raw and SmackDown, and you can have The Rock versus Roman Reigns on night 2 of WrestleMania 39, and Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins for the vacant, at the time, WWE Championship, where Cody can defeat Seth, win the title, and defeat Seth at 2 back-to-back WrestleManias, winning the title almost a year to the day after he re-debuted at WrestleMania 38. So that's how I would do it. Tonight's the Royal Rumble. Let's get ready to start the road to WrestleMania. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.